Thanks very much for joining us today. This lesson, I'm going to be teaching you how to defend yourself against a knife thrust to your throat. So it's a very serious situation you find yourself in. If you're a tough guy, you might be able to take a punch on the street and be still able to win the fight somehow. But with a knife situation, it doesn't matter how tough or strong you are physically, mentally, emotionally. If you get nicked in a certain spot, you're in big trouble. So with this knife situation, you've got to be very precise, very technical, and really get your movements right to be able to take control. So like every other lesson I teach you, the information here, please treat it with the utmost respect and only use it if you absolutely have to. Today, I've got Scott helping me teach this lesson. Guys, with this self-defense stuff, what it is that it's a response to a stimulus. So that means that we need to program your nervous system to be able to respond. So the stimulus might be a stab to the throat, and the response might be movement, break the arm, whatever I'm going to teach you next. So if you have done it a few hundreds, thousands of times, the chances of it coming out for you in real time is quite good. But if you only seen it on the video, in a real situation, you won't have anything impregnated in your nervous system, so the response will not come out. So it is very important that if you do want to get good at this stuff, you do practice it regularly. So if you have a partner, of course, it makes it all possible. So today, guys, with this lesson, if you can get yourself a rubber knife, like this one here, if you can buy it in any martial arts shop, it will make it very easy to practice because it's not dangerous, it's rubber. Right? Scott and I, however, today are going to do this lesson for you with a real knife as well. So this is razor sharp. So just to show you how precise and how technical you have to be, let's use a real knife, right? So in a situation now, you find yourself, this person has pulled a knife. If you can get your distance just slightly outside of stab range to begin with, you're going to have time to respond. So if you are arguing out here and the knife comes, it's very hard to make a move. We can do that to another lesson perhaps, but to begin with, if you find yourself outside of the range of the thrust, you'll have the ability to respond, the time to respond. So I won't move yet. What Scott's going to do is he's going to thrust it straight to my throat over this way, right? So if Scott moves back a little bit there, I've got the room here. So first thing I do, guys, even before I do anything with my hand, is to get around the thrusting sharp knife. So the way I'm going to get around it is I'm going to imagine there's a crescent, half a circle, from my toe to around Scott's toe coming that way. And I'm going to walk around that way to be able to get around the knife. So if Scott was just punching, I can perhaps walk straight into him, block it, go in, it should be okay. However, with the knife, I choose to go around the thrust rather than go straight into it because there's not much margin for error when it comes to that. So first thing I'm going to do as the thrust comes, I'm going to get around the knife so that my throat, that's the point where I was here, Scott is going to be thrusting that, I'm going to be walking around and forward to the knife. So if I slow motion that up a little bit, so I just do it without the knife. If I slow motion that up a bit, I'm going to load one leg, come around and turn my body slightly so my body goes from straight to around. So step one, to straight to around. Obviously that won't be enough. You get around it, but you need a little bit more to be able to control that knife. So next step, as I step around, I'm going to present my hand as a bridge or a trap. So done super slow motion. So that one will come around me, thrust forward. The thrust here is perpendicular. This is my 90 degrees. I come down lower than that and I thrust it forward so that it gives me momentum that way. I deflect it with my thrust. If Scott presents it fairly quickly right at my throat, I get around and I present it. So that would be my step two. Okay, step three would be to turn that thrust around, grab at the wrist. Step four, as I do that, straight palm to the elbow, hyper-extending the elbow, forcing him to drop the knife. So done quickly, it'll be 1, 2, 3.
This technique will violently force the elbow into a hyperextended position, causing intense pain. The force produced will incapacitate the limb and has the potential to dislocate the elbow or fracture the surrounding bones, rendering the arm useless.
I'll talk you through it super slow. So here, outside of range. You don't want to be in thrust range because you don't have time to move. You want to be outside of range. Have a look at his chest. So you are staring at his chest. That means you can see his feet. You can see some peripheral for his friends perhaps. Don't stare at the knife, because if you stare at the knife, all your attention is there. He might take you out with a punch or whatever. So look at the chest so you can pick up everything around. And as he moves forward, I move around and I'm not there. That's the X where my head was, and he's striking there, I'm not there. That's point one. Point two, as I did that, I bring my hand on the inside, I thrust it forward, it's lower than 90 degrees, I thrust it forward. Step three, turn it around, slight pull on the wrist, step four, straight palm on the elbow, work on that one. If I do it properly, it will hyperextend the elbow, forcing him to drop the knife. So it'd be 1, 2. And from this point, there's many things you can do. You can hit him in the body, you can hit him in the head. One of the great techniques that you can do from there, once the knife is dropped here, is step closer to him, reverse palm, I'm gonna hit him in the nose, so there's a lot of pain there. And as I hit him in the nose, I'm gonna claw the eye with my middle finger. So assume the knife's gone over here. Reverse palm, nose, middle finger to the eye. As I hit him, I'm going to drop my elbow down his spine a little bit this way.
The reverse palm to the nose will cause intense pain on impact, fracturing the bridge of the nose. This will result in severe pain, temporary loss of vision and bleeding from the nose. There is also energy transferred through to the brain, resulting in temporary inability to respond. The eye gouge will cause excruciating pain and loss of vision immediately. There will be direct trauma to the surface of the eye, causing an abrasion and inability to see out of that eye. Due to the energy transferred to the eye, it can be gouged out, leaving the attacker permanently blind in that eye.
From there, guys, of course, you can finish the fight any way you need to. So, down in the whole sequence with the knife thrust, a little bit quite quickly, 1, 2, 3, and then bang, he's down. Scott didn't drop the knife, but I was aware enough to control that so it doesn't splash into my ribs or away here. If he's still holding the knife, guys, that's okay. You can go for a wrist here, or you can drop the knee here, you can hit here, or work on here. There's many ways to drop the knife there. But I'm going to assume today that if you hyperextend it properly, do it properly, the knife will be down anyway. So one last time, thrust, break, walk, hit over here, down, control that person, maybe finish it off here, however you need to. Please, I urge you, do not practice with the real knife like Scott and I did. Start with the rubber knives, please, for quite a few years until you get really good at it. Then you can graduate super slow to the knife, because that is really dangerous stuff. Again, thanks again for your energy in joining us. I'll see you at the next lesson. Thank you.